Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Renee Mehrra and welcome to the Renee Report, bringing issues of topical interest. Today I'm going to be talking to a Ayurveda and Siddha expert, Dr. Lakshmanan, who has amazing credentials in this ancient science. Dr. Lakshmanan is Harvard-trained scientist. He's got his doctorate in applied physics from Rutgers University in New Jersey. He's certified health coach. He's a Harvard-certified culinary coach. He's the editor-in-chief of Vedic Research International, vice chancellor for Siddha Veda. Thank you very much, Dr. Lakshman, for joining us today. And April is Autism Awareness Month, and we want to bring that awareness about this critical issue, especially in our community, in South Asian community. We tend not to talk about it. We feel there's a stigma attached to it. I think it's a lack of early intervention, lack of knowledge, and all these taboos. So this show is all about opening up this issue and talking about it freely so that we can treat those little children who are diagnosed at an early stage. In fact, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have mentioned in the 2020 report that 1 in 54 children were diagnosed with autism, and boys tend to be 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with autism. And it cuts across the board, regardless of your ethnicity or your socioeconomic status. But we do see that in minority groups, parents do come in at a much later time and also less frequently. And so the early intervention principle goes out, and it's at that time it's a little hard to treat the child as the child is growing up. Of course, we have it in schools. We have special education for children, but it's better to be diagnosed at a younger age before pre-K, and so that Ayurvedic experts, the experts like Dr. Lakshmanan can really help these children. So Dr. Lakshman, I know that you have extensive research in this field. And tell us, first of all, is autism genetic or is it environmental or is it both?
First of all, thank you, Renee, for interviewing me today. And it's wonderful because of the autism month coming up soon. And it's very important. This is a very important topic because today, as you see the statistics, there's a lot of young children, and they start to have the problems. Parents are like really worried about, because there is no there is no remedy in the modern science. And I think the most of the problems, you don't see elderly people with this kind of a problem, but definitely there is a spectrum. Maybe we missed that spectrum, and this has been mentioned in ancient science. Like we can connect this to one of the things. It's called a vata disorder, and so you can really it's not just with the young ones, it is also in the elderly ones, but the young ones, it has completely increased in the last 20 years or so. And you look at the we can really connect between the modern developments, including in the name of development, how much of chemicals we are using, how much of the food changes that we have made, all the industrial foods, and many other things. They feed the kid with all kind of powders for as a milk, supplement, and the parents undergoing a lot of problems because of they have to, the mother had to deliver the baby at the continuously working before delivering the baby. There's no rest there. All these factors matter a lot. So therefore, the age below the earlier is always better, because this has the connection between the roots go back to genetical too. So the earlier is always better, and we can really see that as they become go to their teenage, it's going to be a difficult problem, it's a challenge.
You also talk about in your research about the importance of biodiversity. So moving out in the village or suburbs and being in tune with nature plays a very important role.
Yeah, definitely. The diversity is one of the very big research that's going on. All are in different fields. They have done microorganism research in microorganisms. So the one of the beautiful thing is that with this research, we can actually prove ancient science, number one, and it'll in that way we can help resolve the autism problem also. We can see the connection between these two things. So here when you talk about the microorganisms, the more the diversity of microorganism in our body, in our gut, we carry more than 2000 species, different kind of forms of microorganism. There could be more um, around us as you walk, and then as you talk, and also inside us there are so many different kind of microorganisms. But when a baby is delivered through C-section, there is only a few type of microorganisms that go along with the baby. But when the baby is delivered naturally, there are different kind of microorganisms. This research has been done. See, there is a research that talk about, like, you take 1 square foot um, region of space and find the microorganism there in a city in the downtown. Um, an apartment there versus a place in upstate New York in near a barnyard. These two kids that are born in different places, they are they become very different because the microorganism in the city is going to be one or two kind of species, whereas here 1,000 different kind of species. So each species does different kind of a job inside. So one of the problem is that the stomach is connected to the brain is one of the main reason for the problem with autism. Here they have proven that fecal material, when the we say poop transplantation, right? So here the fecal material of a healthy person, when it is given to an unhealthy person, they start to function well, they become better now. But they get the characteristics of the host, the person who gave the fecal material. So they try to change the psychological factor changes. So now you see the connection between the brain and the gut. So the gut is affecting the brain of that person. So that's how you see the connection between brain. That's what the research says. So here with this, you can definitely say that by changing the gut microorganism inside our body, we can change the brain. So here the idea is that you can allow, one of the research that we are doing is to allow the kids to expose to natural things, such as playing in the soil, planting trees, your gardening, breathing in the forest. With forest has so many microorganisms deep down, and so playing in that kind of an environment, they're going to gain a lot of microorganisms. One of the researchers, there are one of my key researcher, he did a research in 365 villages in Bangalore. He went and traveled. There are no hospitals for these 360 villages around. No hospitals there, and only what did they have? Everybody had a cow with them, every household. So what does it say in ancient science? They also say, like, why when you're staying with cow and all, the immunity increases because the cows, the cow pie and everything, they have like a lot of diverse microorganism with them, and somehow we are getting these microorganisms. So the more natural we are, so we're going to solve our gut problem, and gut problem fixes the brain. So when children are exposed to this kind of environment, they're feeling better. After 3 months, 6 months, they start to change, and the parents are very happy. There's no real diagnostic tool, but when the parents say, hey, he's doing well now, I call his name and he's trying to respond now, And that's how, um, we
Do you
can,
feel
yes.
that this autism spectrum disorder is like big, and which part of the spectrum the child falls onto? If it's a mild autistic, diagnosis, will biodiversity help, and taking the child out, to the village, or on a farm, in the suburb, fresh air, tuned into nature, or if it's on the more complicated, and it's the child is severely autistic, will this improve, or will it really control autism down the road?
Yes, down the road, definitely it controls autism, because autism is not basically a problem or a disease to cure. It is only a disorder. So even normal people, when somebody calls their name, and sometimes I do, when my my wife call my name, I respond after, 5 seconds, and I'm lost. So this is happening for even common people. We all have autism spectrum on our, and especially the vata people have these problems. So only the problem is that which side, we are going to which extreme. There's no line as like this is this. So there is, it's a like continuum. So you may not know. So we have to balance. Need to come to the grounding state. And there are methods, diagnostic methods are there, which which can tell you whether this is solvable, immediately solvable, or it will take time, or it is not even solvable through the ancient medicine. So it doesn't mean you cannot solve those problems. It just says that what is available in ancient medicine is also limited to that. Then they have to do other kind of spiritual or other practice. That's different. But when it comes to herbs and things, there are methods. So this is called Thylabindu, or it's called Neikuri in the ancient Siddha literature. And one sage scientist, Therier, he did amazing work on seeing an experiment that will use the take the patient's urine in the morning between 4 to 6, and then you drop just one droplet of sesame oil, and you can find different diagnosis. And here autism will show a particular spectrum, and you can find that, okay, this is whether this is a serious case, or what kind of stage is there. And then earlier, if you're giving earlier diagnostic, definitely through immunity boosters, we can use kayakalpa herbs, names, like ashwagandha, adimudram, which is licorice, you
Brahmi,
know amukra churnam. So, and we can
Brahmi,
use brahmi. Brahmi is a big time. There are two types of brahmis, and there are two types of what you call bringraj. It's called karisale in the
you
Siddha
give
literature.
guglu, or you give the Bringraj guglu to the child.
Guglu, yes, yes, yes. So there is a yellow and white flower,
Mm.
different kind of. So accordingly, you can use, but they all are super herbs. They directly affect the brain without going into the metabolism. That's a quicker way of solving problems. But that's not limited to that. So we have to use several things. One is fixing lifestyle disorder, giving them grounding exercises, giving them grounding food, oil bath. Oil bath is exclusively included in this. And, these kind of tools will definitely help them, really solve the problem. So there is a lot of research that we are conducting in different areas, that to see whether, which one is really being helpful. But definitely all these factors are important. There is no root cause like how we see in the modern science. What is the, that's a reductionism mechanism, like, so we shouldn't be looking at that. We should look at the what is called compound effect, like fixing everything in 360-degree and finding the solution, right? So that's called a compound effect, like the compound eyes of the, you know locust. The you should like look at a 360-degree, and then you could definitely see possibilities of solving these problems. It's not like a real solution that you can give. You say you have they have improved, from before. That's yeah.
So you're combining actually the ancient science of Ayurveda and Siddha with modern science, and you do find there's scientific evidence to the ancient precepts and how they can actually treat the child, and with this, combined modality of treatment, looking at the child in a holistic way and improving the child's health across the child's lifespan.
Yeah, definitely. Because two sciences are needed here. Because if you look at our ancient Ayurvedic Siddha people, they have limited knowledge on modern science. Whereas modern science doctors, they are in their own way of assumption that they know everything. So this is a real problem here. And the Ayurveda Siddha people, they have done a lot of things. They worked out and they fix many things, but they don't know how to document in a way that modern papers can accept. But they have treated many people as such. They have shown some improvements in all areas, including the autism. So here what need to be done is to um, set a paradigm shift experiment. We need to train them on paradigm shift experiments, how to do an indigenous science and technology experiment, and then indigenously explaining using modern framework. This is what is needed. You don't have to really learn complete things about like how modern science works. That's not needed. If they know, that's really good, but right now it's not needed at all, because what a parent need is a cure. They don't need science, they want cure. So here you can explain things as it is from an ancient perspective, but as long as you solve the problem, you know that's good enough. And that could also be published. There are journals which accept this kind of knowledge also. We can use from different concept, from different perspectives. So I'm working with such kind of journals. We have ancient science, Ayurvedic, as I'm a chief editor of these two journals, for instance. Right. So yeah.
Now, we talked about early intervention, and that is major key to getting the child better. So if the parent brings their child at an early age, obviously you'll be able to treat them at a good success rate. Tell us about the, little children small children who come to you. What has been your success rate and how you treated them, and how long did it take you for that? Of course, each child is going to be different, but does it take a couple of years or more than that? Share with us.
Right. Well, we cannot, I cannot say there is a real treatment. I could say we can see, for example, you can see between 3 to 6 months, you can see 20% changes, something like 15 to 20% changes, you know, and that's a good statistics, because these all are new things that we are doing. And we, because there are a lot of parameters, it's very difficult to really find out this is what is changing, because we are giving a changing a lot of parameters around, and it's very difficult to find, give the same thing to another person, and another autism kid. So it is right now, I can say, I mean, there is definitely a changes will happen. 70% of the kids at earlier stage, they find it is useful. The parents like it. That's what I can say, because they are seeing some subtler changes that we cannot notice, and therefore they continue. So that is the reason for the parents to continue. We allow them to continue. Like initially we give them like 3 to 6 months time for many changes, and if they want to continue, they continue. And most of the parents, they want to continue because they are seeing subtler changes. And we definitely are giving the best, and this is, we have a lot of solution deep down including several things such as marma and other kind of treatments. So when you combine all these things, definitely, we see there are a lot of improvements.
Use marma points as well on the chart.
Yes. Marmas are very important because all fundamental things happen in the, I call it the femtoneurobiology, because your femtoneuroanatomy is the important. See, today we are all looking at cellular mechanisms. All we look at the cell levels, because cell is the only thing that's observable by a microscope. And even that observation is limited because all mechanisms are theories. No mechanism is observable, right? So that's not truth. Theory is not truth. It's based on assumption. So similarly, this also could be assumption. In ancient science, we talk at a very, even at a very subtler scale, 10 power minus 15, meters. So that's what you're talking about, femto meter. So it's very tiny, right? Below, like if you break the atoms and you look at the particles, this is the size of particles when we talk about Panchabhutas. Panchabhuta are 5 elements. They're fundamental elemental particles. So they're very, very tiny, and you cannot detect, like how you cannot detect an electron. Same way, that's the size of the particles. So you cannot detect that. Therefore, it doesn't mean it's not there. But you can map it, like how we are mapping right now in laser photomedicine. In laser, they do acupuncture and other kind of things. So you can use the whole thing. You press a certain point, and you get treated in a certain area. So you can map for thousands of people, and we can find out the connection, the wiring it's happening in the nervous system, right? So then if you entirely map our body, then you will know, particularly that's called the femtoneurobiology, and you can use that to cure. And that's the way our ancient system works. And so here a modern and ancient knowledge is, because modern science is what all the statistics and everything comes from the modern science, and ancient science gives the treatment.
So what marma points are you using for this to be effective in autistic?
It's not just one marma point.
A few of
So
them, right?
for example, this is one of the key marma points on
Yes.
top. Pradhani marmam,
Yeah, yeah.
Pradhani marmam, yes, right? So we have Shivarandra, Brahmarandra, Shivarandra. These are some of the marma points. And there is also the Agna chakras in the Ara, is called the Aradhara chakra, right? 6 Adhara chakras, we call it. Adhara chakra means 6 Adhara chakras. And this in the chakras also, there are you can do certain treatment. And then we also have something called Amrita Kalayotam, which is like an ancient way of finding, based on the moon cycle, the energy shifts from one end of the toe to the top of the head, and then it comes down in the next moon cycle. So accordingly, wherever the energy goes, you can find out on that particular time. If you can do the treatment, then it's going to be more powerful. So like that, you have to use a combination of the ancient Siddha Varma, and including the massaging, deep down marma massaging.
Are you
And that's
talking about sesame oil massage or any oil massage?
yeah. So there are 53 types of um, touches that you can do to a human being, you know if like spinning, pressing, circle, vibrations. So there are 53 methods has been described in ancient science, in the Siddha literature. And you use many of these methods. More physical, the more physical you're going, that's being more grounded. So the deep down is going to help them. Deep tissue massaging, for example, right? That's going to be very helpful for the autism kid.
Are you doing any clinical trials with herbs to further the?
Yeah, herbs is definitely some of the super herbs. Like there are 108 Kaikalpa herbs. out of which one of the sage scientists, Vallalar, he has described about around 10 uh, ancient herbs, that Siddha herbs. They are going to be very helpful. That includes, as I told you earlier, like ashwagandha, the
Brahmi,
Vallare Brahmi,
Shingraj.
Bringraj, then it's called Musumusukai, uh, then we have Puliyare. Puliyare is a weed. Puliyare, is one of the clover family, the like the butterfly leaves here. That's an amazing medicine too. And they all directly affect the brain function. And so they're going to be very, very useful, to solve this problem. Yeah, some instantaneous, you can see some instantaneous changes in the gut, you know. Yeah,
Yeah. As you said, gut is the second brain. Lastly, what would be advice to parents? You know, forget about the taboo and the stigma and bring them
exactly.
for early intervention.
Exactly. When you come out of all the non-GMO, the genetically engineered food, you come out of, the industrial based food, processed foods. Then you come out of all the other pesticides, agriculture which using all chemicals. And then if you eat plain food, easily digestible, more fruits, more easily digestible vegetables, cooked very well, you know. And when you eat less, also the quantity wise, you eat less and you eat timely, right, according to our ancient timing prescribed, then you have less problem for the gut. And when the gut problem is solved, brain problem is solved. And that's what you see the connection in the research. Your gut affects the brain, and that's been proven in the modern science also, right? So this is also very well revealed in the ancient science, because all the problems called mandam, so it's like a problem with the brain. You have it shows the connection between the gut and brain. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dr. Shan Lakshmanan, for your valuable insights. This is a very critical issue, and we hope that, we're here to destigmatize it by bringing it out in the open and talking about it freely so that if your child is autistic, you can get treatment at an early stage. Early intervention is the key. Thank you very much, Dr. Shan Lakshman, Harvard-trained scientist, Vice Chancellor for Siddha Beta, and who's written many, many peer-reviewed articles, and here telling us some precious gems how to treat autistic children. I'm
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Mehrra.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Renee. And thank you, TV Asia, for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Namaste.